Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I want to talk about art versus craft supplies because there sure are a lot of media supplies coming out on the market. I think it's very exciting because I'm a watercolor painter. I love the trend of watercolor being so popular among crafters lately because I think the more successful and robust we make the industry, the better it's going to be for everyone, because you will have more options and the prices will come down a bit, and it just makes it more accessible for everyone. But then I see a lot of kind of like bickering about different supplies and the difference between artist and craft supplies, and oh, I wouldn't use that because that comes out from this company, and I wouldn't use that because of this, and that's too expensive, and that's cheap, and that's this and that. And so I thought I'd talk a little bit about the difference between art quality and craft quality supplies. So you've got to understand there's two different type of markets out there, and it's also two different types of companies providing the supplies. So when you're looking at an artist manufacturer, let's say Winsor and Newton, they are producing paint. They're developing it, they're manufacturing it, they're marketing it, and they are getting it out to different stores to sell. They're also a wholesaler. So they are doing all of that on site internally. They're investing a lot in research and development, and this goes for pretty much any of the big brand name art manufacturers, artist quality paint manufacturers. So they're putting their best into their products because they plan on keeping those products current for years and years and years. If you buy a tube of ultramarine blue paint from Daniel Smith, and you want that same tube of paint in 5 years, you want to be able to go and rebuy that same tube of paint from Daniel Smith and expect the same results. So there's kind of a higher bar as far as quality and expectation when you're working with art supply, fine art supply companies. And it is their business to kind of focus in on that product they're manufacturing and also offer a commitment to the consumer that if they use up a pencil, they can get a replacement. They can buy that individual pencil, not have to buy an entire set, not have to hunt it down on eBay because it's discontinued. You know, they kind of almost make like a contract with their customers that they're paying more, but they can expect that they can get refills, that they're going to find the same quality when they come back. It's just kind of like a different level of service. And then when you're looking at products that are coming out from craft suppliers, it's a whole different market. It's a whole different market cycle. If you are a crafter, you'll notice that if a set of rubber stamps comes out or a line of paper comes out, if you don't buy it when it first comes out, you might not be able to get it again, because 6 months down the road they're going to release a new cycle of products. They generally do not keep the same products for years and years and years because the sales will slow down, and everyone who has it or everybody who wants it will already have it, and they'll be looking for new things to buy. So the craft market is a shorter cycle. So every 6 months things are turning over, maybe every year. If there is a media product that's selling well, it'll continue to be manufactured, but a lot of times it's kind of like a one-shot deal. They'll put it out, you can buy it if you want it, and then something new will come out in 4 months. So I think that's where a lot of crafters kind of got in the situation where I better buy it while I can get it, better buy it, and then they have a huge hoard of craft supplies. I'm not naming names. I am guilty. I am so guilty. So if you're guilty too, well, join the craft hoarder club. I'm the president. We meet at the craft store every Sunday afternoon. That's when the new sales come out. So if you're looking at these craft supplies as a fine artist, you're probably not going to put too much weight in them, because if you buy a set of watercolors, you're going to want to make sure that if you use up lemon yellow, that you can buy a tube of that, or you can buy another pan of that, and that way you're not going to fall dependent on a color that you might not be able to get in the future. I mean, some pigments do go out because they lose, they can't get any more supply of them, but for generally, you can keep getting the same paints you've always been getting in the artist supply lines. But for crafters, a lot of times there's a trend, like watercolors are a really hot trend right now, so everybody's coming out with watercolor kits, and so you get the kit, you play with it, you're happy with it, but you're probably unlikely to use it up, and if you do use it up, somebody else is going to come out with another cute kit, and you'll just try that one, and you're going to go along on your merry way. And I think crafters get a little bit more inspired by the products, and artists have a different method of inspiration. So I kind of jump between both worlds, because I enjoy crafting, I enjoy the products, I enjoy seeing new things, I enjoy watching videos from the CHA trade show. I really think that's inspiring and fun, but I also just love to take my watercolors and my sketchbook off to the coast and paint for hours. I mean, so I can see both perspectives really good. So when you're buying the artist supply paints, the fine artist paints, you are paying more, but you have that commitment behind you that you will have somebody that can help you if you run into problems with your paint. You can get that same paint again when you want it, and there's just a lot more, I think, interaction between you and the paint makers. There's not like middlemen to jump through if you want to find out what pigment's in a paint or something about a particular pigment that you're looking at. Whereas craft companies are outsourcing the media line generally. Not all of them. There are some ink companies in the United States that produce everything in-house, and there are, well, we'll get to this in a little bit. So we've got a couple big companies that have watercolor kits. They're actually decent quality. They're manufactured, they're private labeled by companies overseas, and they're really nice to paint with. But I think that that people used to the artists quality line of things, they've been poo-pooing this quite a bit because they don't trust it. They're not sure they can get those paints if they want them again. There's no information on pigments, and that's another thing. When you're looking at craft supplies, there generally isn't going to be pigment information. There'll be like toxicity information, but no pigment information. Generally, there's more fillers and extenders to bring the price point down, because if you're looking apples to apples, you know, a set of 12 Sennelier paints is going to run you $60, and a set of 12 like Primo Marketing paints will run you about $20. So I mean, a third of the price, you can't expect to have the exact same quality. And I'm not saying the quality is bad, and a lot of times you can end up buying duplicate things from different companies because they're outsourced or private labeled by the same company over in China or Korea, someplace where they can manufacture things at a low cost because it's efficient. And I have had colored pencils from a couple different companies, different craft companies, that are identical. And doing a little digging, I'm pretty sure they came from the same company in China. And but you can't really blame them. You can't expect a craft company who is going to release colored pencils for a year to hire chemists and build a factory and do all this. The prices would be outrageous. Nobody could afford them. So they outsource them. There's nothing wrong with that, but you do have to kind of weigh that when you're considering what you're buying, because you may be buying duplicates by buying a set of pencils from a couple different companies. So that's just something to kind of consider. Now, I kind of think it's nice that these craft companies can offer good performing supplies to everybody to get them into it. Because, hey, if you fall in love with watercolor because you got a $20 Prima set, then you can expand your love of watercolor and you can upgrade. If you use up a pan, you could buy a tube of Daniel Smith or M. Graham or Da Vinci and refill that pan and go until you have a full artist supply of paints, and do that quite affordably and build your skills as you go. I don't see there's anything wrong with that. So I don't think there should be this I'm better, you're better, this paint's better, that paint's better. I think that, get a paint, pick a paint with a paint, because that's the only thing that's going to make you a better artist, is actually using it, and upgrade as you go. It's a very affordable way to do it, and you're going to use your supplies if you go that way. Another thing that's kind of, I think, a neat trend is I'm seeing a lot of companies, stamp companies, coming out with their signature line of colors, which I think is helpful for crafters, because if you love the absolutely adorable lawn fawn look, if you can buy the inks that match their papers, and you can get everything to coordinate, then you're going to have a more enjoyable time. And a lot of times these companies are having their ink pads made all by the same company, and so there is a level of quality there. You're not having people wing it. You're having people that actually have some experience making these, even though they're private labeled. It's generally a good thing. Now, the only thing that kind of irks me is that when I see something private labeled that I bought for $5 and I see it being sold for like $30 just because it's got a certain brand name on it, that kind of irks me, because that seems like it's taking advantage a little bit of a crafter that doesn't know what they're buying. So that kind of bugs me, and I can see how that can be very frustrating and irritating to artists. If you say, I know where those pastels came from, those should cost $12 and they've got them for $30, So I can totally see that too. So I guess the moral of the story is buyer beware. If you are interested in just some fun, flashy colors to put in an art journal or a book that's going to be closed, you don't really have to worry about the light fastness. You don't have to worry about them changing much, because they're not going to be in the light, and you can get whatever you want. Get the palette you like from the company that you like, that matches the paper you like. You're going to be happy with that. If you're an artist who wants to paint paintings that will hang on a wall, you're better off to get an artist supply artist supply paint. That might mean that if you've got $30 to spend, instead of buying a less expensive watercolor tin from a craft company, maybe you buy a set of, you know, 6 tiny tubes from Daniel Smith for the same amount of money, and replace the tubes as you need it. You just have to start with a smaller collection. So it can be done on your budget, depending whether you are more of a crafter or more of an artist. Neither's better. We're all creating wonderful things. We're all enriching our lives and the lives of others. That's what's important. So sometimes I feel like these debates between art and craft supplies are like political debates. For goodness sakes, we're all creating things. We're all loving making stuff. That's a good thing. We're all part of the solution. We're all okay. I'm okay. You're okay. We're okay. So I just thought I'd just hopefully lend a little insight on why the prices are so different between art and craft supplies, and why so much variety is coming out in the craft market. It's basically because the craft market is more product driven. People get bored. They want the latest thing, and things are only going to sell for so long before everybody who wants them has them, and then another wave of things come out. So that's also a thing for you as a crafter to understand, that if you're feeling the anxiety, oh I better get that before it's gone. Something new is going to come out in 6 months. So just chillax, use what you have. If you see something you love, go ahead, get it, but don't feel like you have to buy everything, because there's going to be new things coming out constantly. And I feel that sometimes, like, I'll see something that I really want, it's like, oh my gosh, I better go get that now before it sells out, you know, and it's like, this is crazy. I could probably just figure out who they're private labeling it from and buy the entire collection for half the price, but I just wanted to put that out there. I think find the art supplies that inspire you and create with them. That's the important thing. Don't buy something because your neighbor has it. Don't buy something because somebody else says you need it. Don't buy something because I love using it. Buy what you think you're going to use, and then use it before you buy anything else. I think that's probably the best advice we could all stand to take this time of year. This time in life. My gosh, look at all the stuff we have. We got to use our stuff. Okay, this has been a very odd, rambly video. I hope it was insightful, or at least mildly entertaining. I'm in my basement. I'm kind of excited about that. It hasn't been that cold this winter, so I can actually do some filming down here, so I'm very excited about that. Videos are going to be a little sporadic for the next week because I'm on vacation, so if you don't get a reply to a comment right away, please don't freak. I will get back to you when I get back, and hopefully I'll have a tan and maybe some new travel paintings to show off, because I've got my supplies. I'm ready to go. Woo! Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting.